Gordon Parks was a groundbreaking, largely self-taught photographer, musician, poet, novelist, journalist, activist, and film director who used his talents to chronicle the African American experience and to retell his own personal history. He is best remembered for his photo essays for Life magazine and as the director of the 1971 film Shaft. He was born in Fort Scott, Kansas, the son of Sarah and Jackson Parks, and was named after the doctor who saved his life after being a stillborn baby with no heartbeat. He was married and divorced 3 times and had 4 children, David, Leslie, Tony Park Parsons, and his oldest son, Gordon Jr., who was killed in a plane crash. He was also named the godfather of Malcolm X's daughter. Parks died of cancer at age 93 in 2006, but he left a legacy behind. Parks was the first African American to work as a staff photographer for Life magazine, the largest circulation picture magazine of its day, which cemented his reputation as a humanitarian photojournalist. He was also the first black artist to produce and direct a major Hollywood film, The Learning Tree, in 1969, and by the time he was 50, he ranked among the most influential image makers of the post-war years. At age 25, Parks was struck by photographs of migrant workers in a magazine and bought his first camera for $12 at a pawn shop. Over the next few years, Parks moved from job to job, developing a freelance portrait and fashion photography sideline. He began to chronicle the Chicago South Side Black Ghetto, and in 1941, an exhibition of those photographs won Parks a photography fellowship with the Farm Security Administration. Working as a trainee under Royd Stryker, Parks created one of his best-known photographs, American Gothic, taken in Washington, D.C. The photo shows a black woman, Ella Watson, who worked on the cleaning crew for the FSA building, standing stiffly in front of an American flag, a broom in one hand and a mop in the other. Parks had been inspired to create the picture after encountering repeated racism in restaurants and shops following his arrival in Washington, D.C. After the FSA disbanded, Parks remained in Washington as a correspondent with the Office of War Information, but became disgusted with prejudice he encountered and resigned in 1944. Moving to Harlem, Parks became a freelance fashion photographer for Vogue. He later followed Stryker to the Standard Oil Photography Project, which assigned photographers to take pictures of small town and industrial centers. His most striking of the period included Dinner Time at Mr. Hercules Brown's home, Car Loaded with Furniture on Highway, and Children with Doll. He later renewed his search for photography jobs in the fashion world despite racist attitudes of the day. Vogue editor Alexander Limberman hired him to shoot a collection of evening gowns. Parks photographed fashion for Vogue for the next few years. Then a 1948 photo essay on a young Harlem gang leader won Parks a staff job as a photographer and writer with Life magazine. For 20 years, Parks produced photos on subjects including fashion, sports, poverty, racial segregation, and portraits of Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali. His 1961 photo essay on a poor Brazilian boy named Flavio da Silva, who was dying from bronchial pneumonia and malnutrition, brought donations that saved the boy's life and paid for a new home for his family. Anger at social inequality was at the root of many of Parks's best photographic stories, and he said himself that freedom was a theme of all of his work, not allowing anyone to set boundaries, cutting loose the imagination, and then making the new horizons. Although Parks died in 2006, his works are still remembered and honored.